Morning, Bethany.
Hey, Bobby, good morning.
So excited to have you here to announce those grant a winner. So we're having a little bit of pivot in the schedule. Jeremy from Out of Pets is going to kick it off, and then after they're done, I'm going to have you come on. So when we announce national updates, that's not for you. We have a special spot for you.
Awesome, thanks. And hey, Jeremy, nice to see you again.
Hi, how are you? Great to see you, Bethany.
So many familiar faces, but since we have a couple minutes, is there anybody new on the call? Is this anybody's first time? We'd love for you to unmute and say hello or use the chat to say hello. So many regulars. I love it. Oh, we got Chelsea Staley in the house too. Look at this.
Hey guys.
Chelsea, what's going on in your world? How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Good.
Fortunately, it's 10 a.m. Central Time, unlike you California folks. Whew.
Oh no, this gets me out and going every Monday morning. So this
Love
is
it.
the
No
best
better
part
way
of
to
my
start
week.
your Monday.
Absolutely. All right, folks, we'll give it about one more minute before we get it kicked off. Looks like we have a lot of regulars in the house, but again, my name is Bobby Mann. I'm with the Haas Project. Super excited and honored to be hosting this call with Mary Smith and the rest of the Maddie's family. Again, we're going to have a jam-packed schedule. There's going to be 4 different speakers today. We're going to be talking about resources to optimize your adoption flows. We're going to be talking about partnering with nonprofit organizations. We're going to be talking about and hearing from my marketing mentor, Sharon from the Maddie's family, about an amazing resource for all of your teams. And we're also going to be talking about giving away money, and Best Friends is here to talk about some grant winners. So super exciting. Well, since it is 8:01 Pacific Standard Time and we have a jam-packed schedule, Mary Smith, I'm going to toss it right over you to get us kicked off.
Thanks, Bobby. Good morning, everybody. It's really wonderful to see you all. I don't know if many of you were able to attend the call on Friday. Maybe your directors did, and possibly they've talked to you about it. It was basically focusing on the violence and terrorism that many people in our movement are experiencing on a daily basis as a result of perceptions of the work that's being done or not done. And it was a very, very powerful hour. It was incredible, actually, to hear the personal stories that people have were willing to share with us. And one story in particular from a woman from Philadelphia was very, very powerful because she talked about the constant barrage of just misogynistic, body shaming, negative threats that she has had to experience as a result of the work that she's been doing. And she's a social worker. And at the very end, she said, in spite of all of this, she hadn't given up hope, that she still believed that we could be better, that we could do better. And the bottom line is, we have to be kind. We have to meet all of that with love and compassion. You know, I have a friend, Isabel, who I just adore. But Isabel always says things to me where I have to just go, oh, fuck, I can't believe this. She says, whenever I'm pointing a finger at somebody, there are 3 fingers pointing back at me. And I'm like, oh, which means that in all likelihood, whatever I'm condemning in another person is in me, is part of my personality, which means that it's really what I have to work on, which is always so much harder. Because trust me, if it was just a matter of me telling you what was wrong in your life, boy, my life would be great. But sadly, that's not how it works. We all have to work on our own stuff. So just imagine that there was a colossal sunspot, and for the next week, there was absolutely no internet of any sort. What would you do? How would you interact? What would that look like? You know, I'm pretty old, and I remember a time before the internet was actually a thing. And I remember what it was like to interact with people. Trust me, I didn't do it very well, but I remember what it was like. And I'm thinking more and more that we need to get back to some of those basics. Because the one thing the last 19 months, soon to be 20 months, has shown me is how much I need all of you. And whether or not before the pandemic hit, I would have called you a colleague or a friend, it doesn't matter. If before COVID hit, I would have seen you as being on a different side, it doesn't matter. Because we have all gone through the same experiences, not just in this country, but across the planet. And if that doesn't do what is necessary to bring down those things that keep us apart, seriously, maybe nothing else will. But we need to do better. We've talked a lot about focusing on ourselves and self-care, but we also have to provide that same kind of self-care to the people around us and the people we don't know. And we have to match that negativity and calamity and damage with positive, loving, compassionate words and behavior. I seriously believe that it has to start with each of us. And I know that sounds so freaking Pollyanna, but I am telling you, I think it has to start with each of us. And so maybe we stay off of social media for a week. I hit my head before the call on Friday, head injuries, a lot of blood, it was pretty horrible. Oh God, even now I think about it, I'm going to pass out. Yeah, I can't be a doctor. That's off my bucket list. So no worries about that. But for the whole weekend, I had to be away from the computer screen. That was pretty amazing. It felt pretty good. Of course, I didn't do it 100%, but I've got pretty close to about 75%, which in my world is like 100%. But I would encourage people to do that. And again, I just want to do a big shout out to Summer, who on Friday just reminded us that when the world is falling apart, there is no excuse for us not to be kind and compassionate. So go out there and be kind this week.
I love it, Mary. Thank you so much. And, I actually had my own conversation with myself about work-life balance because I literally thought I had a dream because at like 6:30 in the morning, I get a phone call from Mary Smith when I'm half asleep that says, Bobby, I had a suitcase fall on my head. I'm going to the hospital. I can't make it. And I'm like, holy shit, this has to be a dream. And then I realized, no, that literally happened last week. So Mary, I'm so glad that you're feeling better. And if I had to do something without the internet, I would pick up my phone and call my good friend, Allison Cardona, who's on this call I see, and just tell her how grateful I am for her friendship and how she keeps me grounded and just how she always leads with basic human kindness as well. So Allison, that's a shout out to you. And we just have an amazing day ahead of us with lots of great presentations. But before that, let's open it up for some national updates.
Hey, I am not on video, but this is Jamie from the Human Animal Sports Services Project. And I just wanted to tell everyone that our HAAS 101 self-paced course is live on Maddie's University. I will throw the link in the chat here in a second, but it's a great resource to share with your staff and watch yourself. It'll take about 30 minutes to get through.
Thanks, Jamie. Huge shout out to Rory Adams from our team and also the amazing Erica from Maddie's Fund for just taking thoughts and turning them into magical courses.
Hi, everyone. It's Dr. Pisano from Team Shelter. No video. Had my wisdom teeth taken out on Friday, and I still look like I got hit by a truck. But I wanted to tell you good news because we talk so much about a lot of bad news. The Joni Bernard Foundation is a large cat foundation in the Cincinnati area and just decided to fund our year 6 program in 8 counties in Northern Kentucky, $150,000 to continue community cat spay neuter. We ended euthanasia for space and cats in those shelters back in 2018. And the Bluegrass Area Development District followed their funding year 4 $250,000 for 13 counties for community cat spay neuter. So just a little bit of good news to start us off.
Hey, Dr. P, number one, congratulations. Second question, remind folks how long you've been doing this work for.
Over 35 years.
You've been doing this for over 35 years.
Yes.
And every time I hear from you, you have the most positive attitude and outlook on this work. What keeps you going? What keeps you excited?
I would say everybody needs to remember that our human brains trigger to negative. And so I struggle with that like everyone else. So I think, and I have a huge, beautiful sign in my house. It says choose happy. And I think we have to work to stay positive. It's hard work to stay positive. I don't watch the news on a regular basis. I'm not on social media, and I'm very careful about what I expose myself to. So I could do a whole hour on this, but that's my short answer.
Well, we appreciate that. And we are going to be having a call on a Friday call in the future about folks that have been in the animal welfare space for a while and just their journeys. And Dr. P will be joining us for that. So I'll make sure I put that link in this Monday call because we'd love for you all to join that as well. Anyone else for national updates?
Stacy's here with the Community Cats Podcast. Just want to remind folks that we have a Community Cats Podcast group at the Maddie's Pet Forum where we have all of our shows and our event information posted there. So all the community cat folks, please, please, please head over there and sign up for the group. And then this Saturday, October 2nd, we have a trapper certification workshop, which goes from 2 to 4:30 p.m. with a TNR test at the end, and you get a certificate if you passed the test. Some organizations do provide benefits like priority slots at their clinics. So if your organization's interested in collaborating with the Community Cats Podcast, I would love to do that, but also just share that as a great resource for folks who think they might want to help with trapping community cats to find out, how to do it the right way and not to have a cat pee all over their car and remember it well. So feel free to join us. It's $10. It's a low fee event, communitycatspodcast.com, or all the information's on the group at the Maddie's Pet Forum.
Thanks, Stacy. And a great reminder, folks, that we always continue our conversations over at the forum. We do have a link for today's conversation as well, which our speakers will be a part of. So I'm sure Allison will drop that in the chat. Anyone else? All right, well, I did see a new friend in the chat, Bob. First call today. Did you want to unmute, introduce yourself, and tell us a little about yourself, Bob? You're still muted. I can try to unmute you.
Okay, I think I'm good to go. Hi, everybody. My name is Bob Lutz. I'm the new Animal Programs Director at Tony La Russa's Animal Rescue Foundation in Walnut Creek, California. It's great to be on the call, and thank you for having me.
Bob, where'd you come from previous to Tony La Russa's?
I started my career in animal welfare in New Jersey at St. Hubert's Animal Welfare Center. There I started as a daily care type specialist position. From there, I went on to work for the ASPCA's anti-cruelty behavior team. I came out to ARF about 5 years ago and was hired on as our animal care supervisor. I was since promoted to shelter manager. And in March, I took the role of Animal Programs Director.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for being here. I was actually in your neighborhood yesterday. I have family in the Bay Area. I'm in Sacramento. So I'm going to come by and see you sometime.
Yeah, excellent. Please do. And if I can just chime in with one additional piece, I'm currently looking for an adoption manager. So if anybody knows anybody that might be good and is in my area and could send me somebody my way, that would be much appreciated. I'll drop the job description in the chat. Thanks, Bob. Look forward to seeing you in the future. All right. It is already 8:13 a.m. on my side of the coast. So let's go ahead and get it kicked off with our presentations. We have the team from Adopets here. We have Jeremy, who's going to be joined by Dallas Animal Services to get us kicked off. An organization that's really been optimizing our workflow, making sure that our adopters are having a great experience in processing our adoptions. And I'm going to go right over to you, Jeremy, to get it kicked off with your team.
That's great. Thank you very much, Bobby and Maddie's Fun team for having us. We're thrilled to be here. I'm going to give a quick 5-minute introduction into what AdOpets is, and then I'm going to hand over to Marion and Jordan over at Dallas Animal Services to talk specifically about how we have helped enable their Dallas 90 program. And then they've got to leave a few minutes after that. So they can pass it back for Q&A, and if there's other things that you folks would like me to show you. So AdOpets is a unique type of animal welfare company. We develop a community engagement platform. The whole concept behind it is to help organizations that do not want to change their shelter software or cannot change their shelter software, but they still want to offer advanced tools to their community. And so we help them primarily in bringing automation to improve the operations, engagement with their community, and their outcomes. Now, behind this, we've been doing it for about 6 years. We have about 100 organizations that use AdOpets. We did a survey at the beginning of the year and asked about why shelters were looking at automation and technology, and about 756 shelters responded. And it was really insightful and reinforced the importance of all that we do in bringing tools to help animals. And so shelters saved on average about 42 minutes by using online services to complement their in-person operations. And saving about 6,000 manual communications for each 1,000 adoptions that they do. And so behind this, there are really 3 parts about the AdOpets platform. Well, at the bottom here, just so you can see, it does say it works on your existing shelter software. So that's right. Whether you're using Chameleon, PetPoint, Shelter Love, Shelter Buddy, Shelter Pro, Shelter Manager, almost any shelter software that you're using, you can use the AdOpets system to bring needed streamlining. The first part about what we do is adopter engagement. So we help provide a seamless experience for folks to be able to search animals and filter them on your website, complete an online inquiry, and then be able to help you manage what the next step in the process is. There's been so much variability, everything from fully online adoptions to only in person to some hybrid. That's fully in your control. At the heart of our system is automation and communications and in process. And this is designed to automate the parts that you want to automate so that you can spend the time with the adopters, with the animals, with your foster parents on the higher value tasks. So, we automate responses back, for example, telling them, here's the process for this animal that's in foster, and coordinating that, or coming to the shelter to visit, or if you're running a virtual process. And then the system continues on to be able to help you be paperless with your contracting, mobile payment, and your donation requests. Now, during the pandemic, much of what we were doing was this remote adopter engagement. But as the shelters have opened back up to in-person operations, a module that we built with Dallas Animal Services has been released about 3 months ago. This is our visitor management module. It's really designed to complement the remote adoption experience that might simply be just meeting the adopter where they are, letting them find the animals, and then coming into your process, whatever that process is. But there's also opportunity within the shelter. So our visitor management module enables you to have a contactless check-in. This can either be a kiosk where people can fill out and say why they're there and then be instructed to what's next, or it's a QR code that they can scan on their phone. But it's designed to be able to take some of the pressure off your staff from having to answer a lot of very basic questions with playing a bit of a traffic cop at the reception. And several different things can happen from here. There's a wait list this part of it. So if there's a service that requires them to wait, they can be texted when it's their turn. It also can give them a custom response to help them move more efficiently through the process. For example, if they say they're there to surrender, it can text them a form where they can start completing that before they get into a meeting. The last part of the visitor management is a smart kennel card. So this is having a QR code on the kennel card. We probably all thought QR codes were going away until the pandemic happened, and now anybody who ordered food in a restaurant now uses a QR code. And so we're using them very effectively inside of the shelter so that visitors, as they go through, if they want to get more information on the animal, if they'd like to request to meet the animal, join the wait list, or complete a paperless inquiry about the animal, they can do it just by scanning the QR code on the kennel card. The final thing about what we've done is to help with foster coordination. So just like adopters or your staff members are integral parts of making this experience work, we look at foster parents the same way. And so as inquiries come in for animals that are in foster, our system can help automate the communications to the foster parents. And that can be, if your staff is the one who approves the adoptions, letting them know automatically when an adoption has been approved, or if you allow the foster parents to be involved in making the decision process, they can also be notified when an inquiry comes in and then play their part in the system. Now, what I haven't done here is to show you the software. After I hand it over to Dallas to share a little bit about their project and how AdopPets helped enable that, I can show you a little bit more detail of the software solution. So Marion or Jordan, I'll stop sharing for a minute here just so that you can talk.
Sure, and I'll kind of take over while you're, there you go. So hi everyone, I'm Marion. I am from Dallas Animal Services. I am the manager over most of our placement programs. So the main one that I'm going to talk about today being adoptions. So we started using AdopPets. Oh God, I have such a terrible sense of time since the pandemic, but we've been using AdopPets for at least since at the beginning of the pandemic. And a lot of that process actually started pre-pandemic, where we started in conversations about what we as our organization really needed and what we needed to improve. And one of the biggest things that we were looking at before AdopPets even came into the picture is our process for adoption. It was, and I'm sure some of you on this call can probably relate if you've had to take a look at your adoption processes, especially if you ended up going virtual, but we relied heavily on foot traffic in the building. And despite the size of our building, we are able to do it with a much smaller staff than one might expect, which is great for an efficiency standpoint, but it also isn't great when you all of a sudden have 50 to 60 people in the lobby who all need help in seeing an animal. So that made our job a constant challenge and was one of the reasons why we put together a plan to present how life could be better in our adoption program. If we were able to get the tools and technology needed, if we were able to have an organization step up and help us build this, how we could make our adoption program be as successful as we knew it could be with already such high adoption numbers. We knew it could only go even higher. So one of the things we did was we applied for the Innovation Showdown. We set some pretty big dreams as to what we wanted to have occur in our organization, and AdopPets stepped up. They stood to the challenge. They said, we want to help you. We absolutely think that we can make this happen, and we've been partnering together ever since. So we are now currently using the AdopPet system primarily for adoptions. We are still working through some of the other modules that we're excited to implement, but the adoption process, not only did AdopPets kind of step up and help us during virtual, they had to take a complete 180 into what they had planned, completely shift things around. They helped us really make sure that we were able to get outcomes during the process, but not only that, whenever we opened back up, how we could utilize both of those processes together. And so one of the things that is truly beautiful, and one of the first things that Jeremy talked about, is the automation system behind AdaPets. So if you can relate, previously, all of our contracts were done on paper. It was a mess, processing about 40 to 50 adoptions in a day, doing all of those on paper, and then having to print everything out, having to then have multiple documents signed. Of course, we needed dual languages and everything, so that's even additional paperwork that would have to happen. Paperwork gets lost. Paperwork is messy. You're constantly having to explain the exact same thing to people walking in the building about how to fill out paperwork, who you talk to, things that we can all relate to. The beautiful thing that we've been able to really do with AdaPets is not only streamline the process in shelter, so no more paperwork, no more messy figuring out how to store things, especially as a municipal. For those out there, you have retention laws, so no more having to figure out what file we're going to fill to the max this month. So instead of all of that, now everything is done in the cloud. It's done virtually. We can access it whenever we need it. The greatest thing that I think has come from this is the ability to not only help in-house, but externally what our organization now looks like when we're trying to highlight pets that really need help. So no dig on Pet Harbor. Pet Harbor is great, but for us, it was really difficult to communicate who was more in need on Pet Harbor to try to filter things out a little easier. And our population is so large that it was very, very complicated when you looked at our on-site website. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen to you and show you just a little bit about what we could do with some, forgive me for the tech terms, but embedded web tables, things that are pretty on our website. And so I wanted to just show what it now looks like and how you can actually filter and through our pets. So this is our website. Can y'all see that? Great. So this is our website where you can view adoptable pets. So this is not the home page. I skipped that. This is our embedded our AdaPets table, basically embedded. Again, words, phrasing, sorry about that. But if you scroll down, you can actually, or if I scroll down, I can actually see, based on a filter, not only am I able to more clearly view these pets in a bigger capacity, but in addition to that, I'm also able to apply for the adoption process right there online. So I don't need to come into the shelter to make any of this happen. As my internet, when it speeds up, will show you soon, but I can have all of this happen at the press of a button. People can apply online to adopt. From there, they can schedule an appointment to talk to a staff member using, we use the Acuity system and the AdaPet smart responses for that. So we're able to automatically send emails, automatically send them the videos on how the adoption process works. We are able to also give them more information without my staff having to even lift a finger. So as a tiny adoption team and a very large percentage of pets going out through our adoption system, it's been instrumental in making sure that we can allot staff to focus more on the pets that need us and have to focus less on the pets that are selling themselves already to get out of our system. Mm-hmm. So we can focus on the pets that truly need help and not have to sit and worry about pets who have people climbing to adopt them. So,
Marion, this is so wonderful. And I know that we don't have you for very long, so I did want to give folks a chance to ask a couple of questions directly to DAS before we lose you. One thing I wanted to point out, I love that you didn't know all the technology terms, because that just shows me that you don't need to have a tech background to really adopt this. But I wanted to ask you a question about change management within your culture, the culture of your organization, right? Because we're changing so many things so fast during COVID. How did your organization adapt to AdaPets?
Yeah, it's a really great question. And part of me I will be honest with you, there's a part of me, and I'm sure of my staff, that has blocked out the amount of stress that we all faced in that first week, trying to at least figure out how we could completely upheave all of our systems, and not just because of Adipets. Actually, Adipets was the savior in that. It was because we had shut our doors for COVID. The staff, and this is something that I'm really passionate about, especially when we have these meetings where we're all gathering together. My staff in particular, and I feel this sentiment in other organizations, can struggle with technology. And so having something that we can go through together, that we can train them on, that is easy to understand, is very important, because we can have all the fancy technologies in the world. It means nothing if we're expecting people who don't understand the basis of these technologies to wield that power. So I'm really, really passionate about making sure that we're meeting the needs of our employees by also introducing technologies that will help them grow. And I think whenever you lay that out honestly for them, that this is a trial and error, this is new to even me, please tell me all of the things that work, please tell me all of the things that don't. Getting their buy-in was so essential into creating this culture of change. Because if you just tell people this is how it is, and not saying that sometimes you won't have to do that, but if you just tell the employees, hey, this is the new system, deal with it, yeah, they may do it, but are they going to come to you if a button isn't working properly, or if maybe they saw something that could be better? Probably not. So that was something that was really important to us when it came to changing culture. Is it doesn't really matter how much I want the system to work. I want my people to know that I'm fighting for them, and also that I trust them and their opinions about how systems can work.
So I forgot to add this into the agenda, but Marion is actually giving us a professional development talk on leadership skills and soft skills. So thank you so much for that. Jordan, did you have anything that you wanted to add? I see you here as well.
Yeah, I mean, Marianne covered it beautifully, but I did want to add in there as far as the change management. The Adipets team has been incredible in supporting us during those changes. Like Marianne said, at the beginning of the pandemic, they pivoted very quickly because what we thought we needed and what we ended up needing were opposite things. And I'm very grateful to them. But throughout the whole process, like Marianne said, if the team is confused about something or it's not working, they've met us where we are and worked through it. And hopefully what we've worked out will help with others. But I know if your organization has different processes, they'll work with you. And it's been a great team and a great partnership. And I am so appreciative to Petco Love and Jackson Galaxy and the Innovation Showdown for helping us make this possible, because we wouldn't have saved nearly as many lives during the pandemic without that support.
And Jordan, you got to give a shout out to Ed Jameson and your Ryan for wearing their cowboy hats on stage
I
too, right?
suppose. Yeah, we'll give them a shout out too.
Yeah. Well,
too proud.
Thank Melissa Weber, your amazing ED, for creating this time for you. I know y'all have to jump, but I actually want to be more like Jeremy when I grow up, because he's like, here's 2 minutes about what my technology does, and now let me show you this organization that's going to make me feel really good about our work. But I want to come back to you, Jeremy. There's some tech questions in here about just what it integrates with. Does it integrate with Pet Finder? Did you want to maybe take a stab at those?
Sure. Yeah. So a core tenet of Adopets is an open data architecture. We believe it so firmly that we think that it's the future of animal welfare. We need to be able to share information. So there's a complete two-way interface. So we communicate and integrate with Pet Finder or Adopt a Pet. We believe in taking down barriers, because it's with sharing information that we can be better. And so if there's not a system that we work with, then we would be happy to be able to work with it too.
I love it. And we're hitting all these tag words, removing barriers. I think Jordan was saying meeting people where they are. Like, this is just making my heart so full. Jeremy, this has been amazing. To the DAS team, again, thank you for being here. Jeremy has put his email on the chat, but you can also reach him on Maddie's Pet Forum, where we're hoping to continue the conversation after the call. But we're going to keep moving because we have 3 more speakers to go. And I know that recently Best Friends talked about their life-saving resiliency grants that were a very quick application, and they're actually here to announce the winners. So Bethany, over to you.
Yeah, I'm so excited to be able to share this with you guys first. We haven't told anyone or even published it to the website yet. As John Dunn so eloquently announced last Monday, we did a super short life-saving resiliency grant opportunity for partners last week. And this was very atypical for a grant. It was 2 to 3 sentences, a picture, a video. As we all know, this past year or past 20 months now has been challenging, and it continues to be challenging. And so we've seen so many moments of inspiration, partners doing new things, a staff member stepping up, a particular family that you got to work with, these really positive things that help us build resiliency. So we put out this grant opportunity. A small group of us spent a grueling amount of time digging through over 200 amazing submissions, trying to narrow it down. And because of the generosity of Maddie's fund, and thanks to Maddie, we were able to award 12 recipients a $5,000 unrestricted grant, just to say thank you for the inspiration and the amazing work everyone does every day. And so with that, I will share our winners in a brief video here. Let me grab my screen, share screen. Here we go. All righty. And can folks see my screen okay? A thumbs up? We
Yes.
good? Okay, awesome. Let's hope the volume works.
It's really quiet on our end, Bethany. I don't know if it's.
Sorry, can you hear it, Bobby, or no?
It's very faint. I don't
Okay,
know.
let me try to ramp it up here. Thank you. Hopefully that'll be a little better for you guys.
Still pretty quiet. Is it playing through maybe your, did you check the box that says computer sound when you press share? So if you unshare for a sec.
Okay, pause share.
Or just, so yeah, and then hit share again. And then when you're clicking on the thing at the bottom left, it should say share sound on the bottom left, a little box.
Thank you.
Of course. Is this giving anybody else goosebumps right now? This is amazing.
great. Well, I know, congratulations to those 12 organizations, to all the submissions, and to really everyone on the call. I'm sure there's these moments of positivity and inspiration that you guys do every single day. So thanks to Maddie for allowing us to be a part of this process. And I will pop the link in the chat, but after this call, we'll update the video and the winners. So thank you again, everyone, and thanks to Maddie.
Thank you, Bethany. And it seems like you've already put together a whole new Monday call agenda, because we're going to get quite a few of these folks here to talk about the amazing work that they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, really, like it was so hard to narrow down these winners because there are so many amazing stories out there.
Amazing. And I know we have the whole Maddie's family here. Mary or Sharon or Kim, would anybody like to say anything about this?
We're just so in awe of the incredible work that was done by so many different organizations. And for all of those that submitted, I mean, I think we should put everybody's submission out there, because they just, seriously, if you need something to pick you up, it's just a great form of therapy. It's probably one of the neatest self-care things we could promote. So great job, everybody, everyone that submitted and everyone who won. It was just an honor to be able to support you.
Thanks, Mary. And just in true collaboration of life-saving and supporting people, best friends and Maddie's Fund coming together, it's a remarkable thing. So thank you, Bethany, for being here. Thank you, John, for subbing in last week. And I'm all about that karaoke too. More watching you than singing, but sounds like a great conference weekend. All right, well, let's keep moving. We have an amazing organization here. Eileen, I'm going to actually come to you now, and we're going to be closing with Sharon. So Eileen from Operation Blankets of Love here, who is the founder and executive director, to talk about her amazing organization and the work that they do. So you can unmute and get it kicked off, Eileen.
Let's see. Okay. Hi, everybody. We're in Los Angeles, and my husband might chime in there too. I started it, but in 2008, and we got so busy that my husband joined in. And so my husband's just going to quickly say what we are.
Good morning.
Hi, Brad.
Hey, how are you, Bobby? Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
So this is an animal welfare and emergency relief organization based in Los Angeles. And we've got wonderful affiliations throughout the state to help shelters and rescues by the hundreds. So we are kind of like a supply resource for those shelters and rescues. So if they need food, leashes, collars, blankets, crates, whatever, it's kind of like a Red Cross light to the animal rescue world. In essence, we rescue the rescuers. So we've got this fantastic organization. Every day I must have anywhere between 1 to 5 or 6 rescues or shelters come to us for help, because maybe they lack the resources, the money, whatever it is. We fill in that void. And then sometimes what we do is send supplies across the country for disaster relief, such as if it's tornadoes in the Midwest, or hurricanes in Texas, or earthquakes. We send supplies. As a matter of fact, we also send about 2,000 pounds down to Mexico every month to help the shelters and the rescues in and around Baja, California. So thanks to this lady, it was her idea, and then I jumped in to help out, because this organization became nationally recognized, and we had to step up to the plate and help as many rescues and shelters throughout the country.
And so what I want to say, partnerships are very important. It's all about building relationships. My background is a professional fundraiser for 25 years, but I never had a dog before, everybody, until 2003. I only had little turtles and fish growing up. And Ginger, who was with us for 15 years, was my inspiration. But quickly, it started when I saw a brand new shelter in our local area, a $20 million shelter. And I went in to visit it, and it was a rainy day, in fact, in LA, and the puppies were freezing. They were showcased. And I went to the manager, and it was on a Sunday, and they said, well, we don't have enough blankets. And I said, why? They said, well, we just don't have a budget for comfort items. So within 24 hours, I met the head of the 6 shelters, and She told me she needed several hundred blankets and towels. So I said, well, let me see what I can do. And in a month, we collected several hundred gently used blankets and towels. And before I knew it, we helped all 12 shelters in Los Angeles. And just to speed it up a bit, I keep a record on my home page. We just hit 100 shelters that we've helped up and down California that need blankets and towels. But what happened, everybody, people were starting to give me leashes and collars and litter and pet beds and you name it. So then we started calling all the rescues saying, we have all these items for you to pick up. And they said, well, how much will it cost? And I said, everything is at no cost. Everything is free. And so we started helping animal rescue groups, and we're almost hitting 800 animal rescue groups that we have helped. Many depend upon us every month. Number one is for food. We can give between $500 and $750 worth of food at no cost. And that does include all the leashes and collars and everything else. We also partner with organizations that help the homeless. We work with probably over 60 organizations that come to us because when they're helping the homeless, they don't have the budget for pet items, and they're finding out some of them might have more than one pet. So they come to us. Again, one of the most important things besides food is a leash and collar, because they're walking around with the dogs and they can run in the street. So we work with the professional staff, with the people. It all started, we started working with pet-friendly shelters where people could bring their animals. We help all the shelters in Los Angeles that allow people with their pet that are homeless until they can transition into, hopefully into an apartment and getting a job. And then from there, we started helping other organizations and churches that were helping the homeless. We partner with schools. We partner with the K-9 units for the police department. We donate crates and Kongs and toys, and let's see what else. We also work internationally. Brad, why don't you just tell them quickly about, we help, we provide crates and so forth.
Well, the whole express down to Mexico, which goes on almost every week, we'll send down with rescue organizations tonnage of food, wire crates, which is really important, medical supplies, medical food, and so on and so forth. We've sent supplies down to Central America at one time, Mexico City, Puerto Rico.
China, we work with a woman.
Amazing. Eileen and Brad, I have a quick question. A couple things. Number one, I think you're just filling our souls with just the joy that you both have for each other, which is just remarkable and lovely. But Eileen, you went from walking into a shelter that did not have blankets to supporting unhoused communities, right? It's like, what an amazing transition. And oftentimes, I thought what was so important about this conversation was oftentimes when people walk into shelters and they see a problem, they complain, right? Or they might say that the people at the shelter don't care, and that's why these pets don't have blankets. So what made you go the other way, where you're like, you know what, I'm going to help this organization versus I'm going to criticize this organization?
That's a great question. Well, I knew I had to do something. I like to step up to the plate. If I see a problem that I think I can find a solution, I will do it. I just have a very big heart. And Ginger, Ginger was my inspiration as well. I couldn't picture Ginger in a shelter shivering on a hard cement floor. And she was my inspiration. And this started just to help one shelter, and I was going to go on my merry way. And as more and more people came to us, I knew I had to start a nonprofit, and we're going to start our 14th season. And my husband also is very caring and giving. So when he stepped up to the plate, and we had like 30 volunteers eventually, but because of COVID, we're down to, of course, 2 or 3, and they're mostly, they're wonderful, but
We're on double duty.
Yeah,
so-
double duty. And also, here's another thing we also started a few years ago. We supply pet pantries to the shelters for people that are struggling right now. So we not only give them food, they can't believe we're giving them toys, everything they need, not just the food. And we go to San Diego. And
this is so amazing. Eileen,
we've even sent tonnage of supplies. It was last year down to San Diego Humane. Hello, San Diego Humane. We've sent supplies
for the pet pantry
with these wonderful workbooks, which we're going to talk about, the bilingual workbooks on how to care for your pets. We sent this to Dallas? Is anybody still on from Dallas?
Humane Society.
Dallas Humane.
We just
Michigan. We sent the ton.
Hawaii, New Jersey, all over the United States, because I'm a member of the Professional Education Humane Society, and I went to their seminar, so I was able to present my booklet. It's a 44-page coloring bilingual workbook approved by the LA City county, by the LA City before I even printed it. And I made it also in Spanish. It's bilingual. That's why we're able to send this book to Central America. I did a Zoom to kids in Peru and sent the books there. And can we show that video? It's a third before we leave.
Yeah, Eileen, we're gonna have Allison prompt this video to close us out, but this has been so inspirational for all of us. As we're watching this video, folks, if y'all can use the chat just to thank our amazing speakers, because we're gonna move on right after this video.
Okay, good.
And by the way, if anybody in any shelter wants any copies, reach out to us
and we'll
send it to you.
We'll send 20 copies. If you need more,
we'll send it to you.
Okay.
Let us know.
Thanks, Brad and Eileen. We love it.
There's another hoarding situation, so we've got about several hundred items ready to go.
Saving lives is our mission here at Operation Blankets of Love, and sometimes we have to go far beyond our borders to ensure the survival of homeless animals.
We found a whole stash of little puppies and we're trying to feed them, so we're doing everything possible to save their lives.
As a partner with the American Red Cross, we provide emergency response for pets displaced by catastrophe.
We'll get calls from the Red Cross. We're called upon to dispense crates, blankets, and towels to areas where dogs and cats were displaced from their homes. So we set it up right there on the location and provide that service.
Transporting animals to shelters where they would more likely get adopted and rescuing animals after disaster are your cash donations at work.
They found this litter today. Look, it's so comfortable. See, all the soft little blankets are used for all the little babies.
Look at Look at these beautiful kittens. See what either a blanket or a pet bed can do. They get comfortable in their environment, and this makes them more adoptable.
To make a cash donation or find a donation drop box in your area,
please visit our website, operationblanketsoflove.org, and help save a life today.
Eileen and Brad, if you both had your own Hallmark show, I would watch it every single Tuesday afternoon. Thank you both so much. We're gonna move over to the amazing Sharon from Maddie's Fund to talk about an amazing marketing resource that's out there for you, because programs aren't anything unless you can get the message out. So over to you, Sharon.
Wow, it's that's a tough one to follow. Thanks, Eileen and Brad, you're amazing. Okay, so in the chat, I would love for you all to put down what your role is. And while you're doing that, I'm going to ask you a few questions. Are you new to this role? Do you have marketing and communications as part of your role? If you've been doing it a while, would you like a refresher or to understand the basics if you've never done anything, but all of a sudden everyone's asking you to do social media? Wonderful, wonderful. Well, if you answered yes to any of the questions, we have a free and fun course for you. No matter what your role is, or whether it's fundraising, I see some people have fundraising in their title, or foster care, just like those roles, marketing and communication is part of everyone's role. And we have a poll that Allison is going to put up. Allison's going to partner with me today. So please take a few moments to all that apply. What would you like to learn more or have a better understanding of? So while you're doing that, just want to ask everyone, I may having you do a lot of activities here, very engaging and interactive. If you've ever been into any of my presentations, use your heart reaction to let us know whether or not you have ever taken a course in Maddie's University. All right, Allison, how's the poll coming?
Look at that.
Wow.
OMG, everybody wants to know everything about marketing. And you know, we are all marketers in everything we do because we love to share what we do and talk about it. And it looks like the highest one here is how to create a strategic marketing plan. And let's see, followed by understand our audiences. Yeah, who doesn't want to do that? And then what the heck is SEO? Let me just grab a screenshot of these results. There we go.
Thank you. All right, well, we're going to give you a tour. Did I say our course was free? It is definitely free. It is called The Fundamentals. And one of the things I need to tell you about the fundamentals of marketing at Maddie's Fund, we try to say that we put the fun in fun. So yes. So Allison, will you launch our screen share?
Yeah. Sorry. Let me just.
That's all right. I know you're doing a lot of things here.
Here we go. Wait, that's
in our partnership.
We want Firefox. A lot of sharing going on here.
A lot of sharing. Yes.
So here's what happens when you go to Maddie's University.
Yes.
This is the homepage for Maddie's University. All the courses are free. And I'll just mention real quickly that I'm already signed in, but you would see a sign in here, and that's where you would go. And we never share your contact information, but go ahead and sign in, and then you would see your name here. And go ahead, take it away.
Okay, so this is the home
catalog, right?
Yeah, go to the catalog,
which is this
and
button,
then, right?
And
put in fundamentals, and you'll notice that it's in caps because we want to remind you how much fun you're going to have, because marketing is fun and communications.
And then you'll see it here, and what you'd like to do, you can enroll right here, but if you want more information about it before you actually commit, you go to this, and this is the overview. And
one of the things
I want to mention this, Sharon.
Oh, yes. This and all our courses in Maddie University are CAWA and NACA approved, and you get actual CE credits for CAWA. So, this is really, it is truly the fundamentals or foundational course for marketing, whether or not you've had marketing. Like I took marketing courses in 35 years ago. I always learned something new, and I learned a lot from all of you. But the course is not just for someone who wants to do marketing, but who wants to have an understanding of it. And based on the poll, it looks like everybody does want to have a good understanding because you all play a role in marketing and communications. So Allison, when you see this page, you'll see once you enroll, and then we're going to give you a sneak peek of just what the course looks like. And most folks have told us, I have some folks on this call who have taken the course, and it's about an hour depending on your pace. You can go faster or slower depending on the areas, but you will definitely learn how to write a press release. There's the how-tos in this.
Let me just do a new share here.
Okay. I'm going to give you a sneak peek into the actual course itself and give you a sense of what it looks like. Because it's very simple. It actually keeps track while Allison is getting that share. It keeps track of your where you have started with little green check marks. And then if you have to leave and then come back, you'll know what you've already taken.
There we go.
And it has quizzes in it, but it's fun quizzes. So here we go. Here's the fundamentals. So if you click on the overview, you'll see what your objectives are going to be about. And you'll see the check mark that pops up there. The authors at this time are the marketing team at Maddie's Fund. We created this course with a lot of help from several folks in the profession. There's Craig.
And these guys just did a phenomenal job, I have to say.
Wendy is on the call.
Talented. And
then you'll get to the introduction.
A lot of fun. There's some interactive, real quick, and you get like a little
flip.
Yay, relationship.
And I have to give our education team, Erica and Allison and Kelsey and Lisa, props, because they put it together. We wrote it and gathered resources, but they put it together. And a lot of the resources you may recognize, they came from folks in our profession. So just to give you we just wanted to give you just a quick tour, just to see the course.
I'll stop sharing.
And then one last thing I will say is at the end of the course, there is a brief survey. We'd love it if all of you would take the course, because we are currently working on an online apprenticeship that we're going to go deeper dives into certain areas. And your poll that you took helped us in identifying some of that area. But also when you take the course, you'll get a sense of, oh, I really want to know even more about this. So we're hoping that this will be a great foundational course for anyone, and that you'll all take it. And then we'll be in the February timeframe, we'll be announcing when that apprenticeship will be announced.
I don't know how you do it. You said I literally need 8 minutes and 30 seconds, and you literally took 8 minutes and 29 seconds. You're just a professional. Mary Smith, I'm going to toss it over to you to close it out.
Wow, what a great meeting it was today. I just want to thank Jeremy and Marion and Jordan, Dallas Animal Services, Adipets, Eileen and Brad. Seriously, you need to move to all of our neighborhoods. We just love you. Bethany, thank you, and Best Friends for making it possible to just be so damn inspired today. I really appreciate it. And my own team, Sharon, Allison, thank you all so much. Bobby, great meeting. Be kind to each other. Be kind to strangers. Have a good week.